I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
Damn.
147. Shit, if I
147.
tap that trend, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
But
he
he ain't
is.
got no chance.
Gervonta Davis has reacted to Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford's confirmed fight, which will be held early next year. He not only trolled Crawford for ducking him, he also predicted a devastating defeat for Terence Crawford. In the past, we've seen Gervonta Davis call out Terence Crawford, claiming he will beat the former undisputed champion at 147 PBS. However, with Terence Crawford not among his prospective fighters in his new 7-fight deal tank, Davis has probably taken such thoughts off his mind, and rather than propose an unrealistic matchup, he has reacted shockingly and given his prediction on who he feels wins the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford after the matchup was recently confirmed.
Said no chance.
I got round 5.
Shit, I got round 6.
We'll go with that. I'm gonna put my money around 6.
Gervonta Davis' prediction comes alongside predictions from other fighters like Alexander Usyk and a few others.
It's crazy, man. Listen, I say Terence win. Yes.
What? Terence win over Canelo.
Yes, Terence win. But
Looking at making the super fight in either December or January over in the United States, I'm working to deliver Canelo, but it will be a big fight for Crawford. Alex said I'll discuss with him the names of the former 2-weight undisputed champion Crawford, who is working with Alec for his upcoming clash against World Boxing Association super welterweight champion Israel Madrimov on August 3rd in Los Angeles. Provided he wins, that fight against Canelo should come next for Bud.
Be like, man, I'm not giving up. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna keep getting up and I'm gonna keep fighting. So, you know, yeah, he did what he had to do to last the time that
You got two of the top fighters of this decade, not just in the past year, or so Crawford said of a possible showdown with Canelo. You've got two fighters that have been at the top for 10 years. You got the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and you got the #1 money man. I never like to overlook anyone. I have a fight coming up on August 3rd, and that's where my main focus is.
victory is, you know, is just as satisfying to me as a knockout, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all going to go on your record as the same, a win.
Canelo proved he is still the best 168-pounder on the planet when he retained his undisputed super middleweight titles on Saturday night against Mangia via unanimous decision. Crawford was in attendance for the fight and delivered his verdict in the immediate aftermath. I thought it was a good fight, he added. I thought Mua fought hard. I just think his inexperience caught up to him and made him fall in and square up. Not stepping in with his punches allowed Canelo to sit back, counter, and pick his shots. Canelo was a real patient.
It's a little crazy, the people.
Al Schick is also planning to stage a UK-USA versus 5 event for December in the same format as the Queensberry Matchroom 5 vs 5 on June 1st. But with a team of British boxers competing against a team of Americans, this is all part of the Saudi boxing chief's plan to fix boxing. Boxing is broken, but I think we don't need to get everything back together, said Al Schick. Indeed, boxing sat at the top of the global sports landscape for much of the 20th century, but with the best matchups being relegated to pay-per-view, the lack of a centralized governing body, and the minimization of pugilism at the Olympics, the sport has waned in popularity since we need to improve it with something else. We have a strategic vision where we have identified untapped opportunities and are committed to market improvement. The fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will surely be one of the biggest boxing fights ever. They're two boxing titans that hold all the gold in their respective divisions, but a matchup between them has always looked impossible. However, if recent events or anything to go by, a mega fight between undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez and former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford might be moved from the fantasy fight section into reality. Canelo Alvarez boasts 61 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses, while Terence Crawford is unbeaten with 40 wins in all 40 fights and 31 knockout victories. Both fighters had their last outings end with dominant triumphs. Canelo outpointed Haim Mangia, while Crawford destroyed Errol Spence Jr. in a long-awaited super fight. As a result, both fighters are in high demand, with fans and the media hyping up a potential showdown between them. Gervonta Davis, who had called out Terence Crawford before finally giving up, has now made his prediction. Gervonta Davis sounded so confident that he could beat Terence Crawford despite being much lighter than him last year. Crawford made a strong case to become the top pound-for-pound boxer in boxing when he destroyed Errol Spence Jr. in their super fight at 147 pounds. Davis, who weighs 135 pounds, was asked how he would fare against the 147-pound Crawford, and Tank believed he could beat the bigger fighter in 6 rounds. 147. You know he's going to sleep. He ain't got no chance. Hey, I got round 6 Crawford, then brushed off Davis's comments. Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him coming up to 147 to face me anytime soon. Crawford also discussed an improbable bout versus Davis during a recent appearance on The Breakfast Club, a popular morning radio program on New York's Power 105.1 FM. He is just talking. Crawford told co-host Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy, you know, he has the confidence in himself that he believes that he can do that because he's been knocking all these fighters out that he's been in the ring with, you know, so no knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels, you know. And if he comes up to 147 and he's thinking he's just going to knock Terence Crawford out, he got another thing coming. By the end of 2024, and as we've learned in heavyweight boxing, these are not just empty words following Canelo's win over Haim Mangia in May. ESPN will discuss the potential superstar showdown with Crawford. You got 2 of the top fighters of this decade, not just in the past year, or so the WBA, WBC, and WBO welterweight champion said you got 2 fighters that's been at the top for 10 years. You got the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and you got the #1 money man. The Kingdom is offering up boxing purses big enough to knock down any obstacles in the way. Crawford seems unconcerned to move up and fight Canelo, who weighed in at 168 lbs for the Manji. And Canelo has said he's chasing purses at this point in his career, not the respect of fans who expect him to meet Benovitz at 175 pounds. And that's all for now. What are your thoughts on the coming matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence? Bud Crawford lets know your thoughts in the comments section. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this.